What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is the day we're gonna begin cutting out all this rust, grinding out all the surface rust, figuring out what we're gonna do with the holes. I started grinding a little bit with this flap disc on the angle grinder. Probably should have just got a wire wheel, honestly. I think it would allow me to get into these grooves a little easier because this one's kind of firm. It's better for probably like flat surfaces, but this is kind of annoying. Luckily, it looks like the rust isn't too bad in like here. Down here is probably gonna be a different story. And of course, right here. So we're gonna have to figure out something for there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to figure out where the best place to start is. There's a similar situation to this right here on that side as well. I'll show you. I haven't really poked around too much more on this side. There's still a little bit more of the sound dampening, deadening stuff that I need to get rid of, but definitely looks like some pretty decent rust goes around the seam right where the seam sealer is. I think I'm gonna end up grinding out a lot of the seam sealer and just replacing it, to be completely honest. I might as well at this point. I wanna take off this brace right here. I don't exactly know what it's for, but try to impact these two bolts off like I did on this side, which this side worked fine, but something's causing these two to just not rotate out. They just spin. So I think they might have got a little too rusty on the bottom end, unfortunately. I think the first place I want to kind of just look around is on this corner here. It's going to be a little weird to patch this, I think. I kind of want to just get in here and see how far out the rust goes. It kind of looks like it goes up to about here. Looks like it continues down this way a lot. And then up the side. And then as well as down here, you can kind of see more. Goes to about here. Started peeling back this a little bit, this rubber stuff, to see how far I went. We'll have to cut a bit of this out. I think I should take off the side skirt at this point. You know what? I'm just gonna do that right now. I'll take off the side skirt. All right, I just took the skirt off. Honestly, I thought I'd go more into the rocker. So I guess that's all right. Right here's pretty bad. And then obviously that driver's footwell area is pretty bad. It goes pretty deep into the rocker, I'd say. And then on that jacking point right there, it's pretty rusty around that. That's kind of sketchy, I'd say. I really wish I had a better way to patch this rust, because unfortunately I don't have enough wall power for a welder. So people are gonna hate me for this, but I think I'm gonna have to cut and make some panels and then rivet the panels into place. So people are gonna hate that, and I hate it too. But we're gonna try to do a really good job, make sure nothing gets in between the cracks. We're gonna seam seal it all. The main thing is now I gotta figure out where I wanna make the panels. Obviously, I think it's gonna have to go, one side's gonna be up like this, connects to like the rocker area, and then it's gonna have a 90, goes this way, and then etched out wherever I end up placing it. This area here might be harder than this, which kind of sounds crazy, but the corners I feel like are going to be hard to bend metal into, which is why a welder would be honestly so nice for this. But that's not an option, so we'll have to figure this out. I think that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind out a lot of the surface, the paint, the whatever, the rust, and kind of just see where all the rust ends. I'm going to have to move this drain. Or is this a drain, or is this a windshield wiper fluid for the rear window? I have no idea. Either way, might have to detach the gas door lever. Looks just like the throttle cable, so that shouldn't be too hard to take off. Maybe I should do this last, actually, just so I kind of get a hold of what I'm doing on the more simple spots. The fact that both these two corners are pretty rusty, I think that probably means that these windows are both leaking, or the sunroof was leaking. I mean, the sunroof is definitely leaking. They always are. This side's got one spot here, but like I said, I mean, this doesn't look too bad. Like, might need a little patch right here. Just like a little L. Grind out all this rust. This, I don't know how deep that goes. Looks like it's pretty bad there. There was caps over these things, but I took them out just to see what was going on under it. I'm gonna take out the rest of this sound deadening right here and then see what that looks like. And then probably start grinding out some of the surface rust. All right, I just took out the rest of the sound deadening in that corner. And I also started grinding out a lot of the seam sealer and the surface rust in this corner. I think I'm gonna go pick up a wire wheel for the angle grinder. The flat disc, I think that's what it's called. It's called a quick strip disc, I'm sorry. This is the one I got. It definitely works really well. I won't lie, for taking out like the paint and the surface rust. But I think the wire wheel might do a little better job of just getting in all the little nooks. I think I'm just gonna go pick one of those up right now. Did a really good job of grinding out this seam sealer that was right here. But I just think that the wire wheel will work a little bit better. All right, I went and picked up a wire wheel. I think this one's actually called a knot brush. But yeah, I think this one's working a lot better. I grinded out this entire seam sealer. Got a bit of the surface rust. I'm just gonna continue doing that. Probably won't record much of it for this one because I'm just kind of seeing what I'm dealing with here. But when I start patching up this one over here, I think I'll definitely set up some sort of recording. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna grind out all of the stuff in the corner here, as well as just kind of the paint, see how far the rust goes and see where I'm gonna have to cut. I also picked up some Dremel blades. I have some cut blades for the angle grinder as well. I think I might not use these though, because I think it'd be easier to get the Dremel in these smaller areas. We'll see. For now, I'm just gonna continue doing this. All right, so I've grinded out a lot of the surface rust as well as all that adhesive that was in the corner. There's a ton of surface rust or just rust that's built up behind there. So that's a little unfortunate, but I drew out a little bit of where I think I'm probably gonna wanna cut out. Might wanna move this little circle part a little more forward if possible, but it looks like the rust goes out to about where the line is. The reason for that is because I kind of would like to stay on the same surface because it slopes down here, so it'd be a tiny bit harder to mount the metal there. Obviously it wouldn't be that hard, but I'd rather keep it a lot simpler, and I think it would look a lot cleaner too. I also found out there seems to be where the whole floor pans connect to like the side of the car. There seems to be a seal or a seam right along here. So I grinded some of that out. And then it looks like it goes up this direction as well. And yeah, they kind of just slapped a ton of just coating all around this corner, but it clearly did nothing. So if anything, it probably just kept the moisture in. And the reason for this odd curve is because there's a spot weld right here. And I'd rather keep this one there because I can keep structure from like here past here. Obviously you can see that the whole kind of seam is starting to rust. Gotta grind out all that still. But the plan is in the future, once I'm able to get a welder, I'm probably gonna want to just replace the whole floor pan anyway. So hopefully I'll be able to make this work for the time being. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to keep going this way is because right here on the bottom side, let me take a peek. You can see these two spot welds right here, 1 and 2. And I think that's for this like this trailing arm. I think this is the trailing arm, like housing. And I want to go around that if possible. So where the line ends up is about in here. See these are the two spot welds. I'd like to just cut kind of along the side of it. So I'm kind of just trying to avoid these two spot welds. There's another one here I see. Actually, maybe those two spot welds aren't it. Anyways, the line that I drew comes out to about here. So hopefully I'll be able to grind out this surface rust. And then just mount, I'd want to mount the plates from this side rather than the bottom, because my idea is that the pressure would be from the top probably rather than the bottom. And then I think I'd be able to make a better seal and keep the weathers out. So that's my thought process for that. The hardest part of the whole thing is going to be actually getting a plate to be able to fit in here. So after I've made the cuts, I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on the other side of here. Obviously this hole is for a seatbelt, same with this one, so I don't really want to go too far up there. Honestly, I might just go up to the end of this and bend it up that way. But the hardest part of the whole thing is going to be getting a nice piece of metal to fit here, because hitting the corner is going to be really hard without making lots of cuts in it. And I want to have the least amount of cuts in the metal possible, because that's just more areas for water to get in and have a bad seal. Obviously, I'm going to put I'm going to put my own seam sealer in the spots, as well as paint it with the truck bed paint. But I want to make the least amount of future rust possible, if that makes any sense. I'm probably going to have the one at least, there needs to be a one seam where it's cut, so that I can get a piece of metal to go here, here, and as well as here, like a little bit up this. If I can mount it to this bottom section of the floor pan where it meets the side, I think that'd be a decent idea. But I'm gonna have to have at least one cut in this corner here, so that the flat piece of metal can have a bend going this way and a bend going this way, because I'm no blacksmith, so I can't just like heat it up and get it to actually form that corner. I think what might be a decent idea is to finalize the cut line on at least the close end to me, because once I cut more of this out, I'll be able to see more of what's going on in the rockers. The hardest line to figure out is probably going to be on this side and this side. I did find one more spot in the back right corner of the car, back in the hatch over there, which is interesting. It's probably leaking through the tail lights. So I think that's a common thing for these, but I'm gonna keep taking some measurements and stuff for here, and I'll keep you guys posted. All right, no, I didn't record much of anything at all, but this is the next day after I did this. I cut out this panel, I riveted it in, and then I just slobbed some seam sealer all around the seams, and of course in the corner here. I think I might put a little bit more. Some spots I still gotta do the bottom as well, but obviously the seam sealer looks nasty. I lost the cone that went on the end of the tube, so I kind of just slobbered it on and smoothed it out with my finger. Obviously no one's gonna be seeing this, so I'm not too worried about it, and I'm also gonna be painting over everything. But we're gonna move on to here now, because this is probably gonna be the most challenging part. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and grind a lot of this out with the wire brush, or I guess this is like a knot brush, but I'm gonna take out this fuel door lever just so I can get up in here. All right, so I've done a lot, to be honest, since the last clips. I went ahead and just kind of patched up everything I wanted to. I did not really record any of the patching process, and the reason for that is I don't really think anyone should really do it the way I did. Basically, I cut out the area I wanted, and then I cut out a patch panel I used just sheet steel from the hardware store, and then I riveted in. Well, I first bent it so that it sat how it should, and then I riveted in from the bottom so that you don't get the little stickies from the top. So it kind of pokes out this way instead of the tabs poking out in the bottom, which looks ugly. But I didn't record it because I don't think anyone should do it like I did, to be honest. You should definitely just weld it and call it a day. Should probably do it there. Should probably do it in this corner too. But I honestly think it'd be way better to just get new floor pans. So I think I'm just gonna keep this for now. I grinded out a lot, not most of the surface rust. The stuff that's on like here and here, I think I'm just gonna coat. On this one, I don't really want to touch because I don't really have the connectors for this. I would recrimp these and connect it, but that nut's not gonna come off, and I don't really have anything to deal with that right now. So I might just leave that for the time being until I get back to this point. I'm at the point now where I think I'm kind of ready to start painting the floor. So I'm gonna vacuum it out, grinding it with the wheel I'm using. It makes a ton of just dust, and it kicks the rust into the air. So if you do this, you definitely want to wear a mask or at least a respirator. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go and wipe down everything with some degreaser and get ready to paint. I did strip out the sound deadening and the back seats too. There was a ton of water on this side. I'm not exactly sure how that got there. Possible it came up through the fuel pump right here. There was some rust here. I grinded that off. Some here. You can't see all the shiny spots. That's where I grinded it. There's a lot of brown areas around, It's kind of just where the rust dust lands, so that's kind of why I gotta go and wipe it all down. This is another spot I can't really deal with right now because I don't have the proper tools, and like I said before, I would rather just weld it. I wish I kind of would have thought of that more before. Obviously that spot I needed to do something to. This spot was pretty bad too, so I'm glad I did this for that and there. But honestly, I do not recommend doing it my way because in the long run it's going to be better to just weld in new floor pans. I was trying to find like a company that would make like specific sides, but I'm pretty sure you have to order the whole floor for like everything back here up to probably this seam, to be completely honest. I'm gonna save the trunk for probably, I don't know, I might just do that on my own time. I don't know if I record it. The sound editing in the trunk is very mushy and gross, so it's gonna be very painful to get that off. This one came off in like the entire piece because there's so much moisture under it. Another reason I didn't want to cut out that area there is because the ECU is right there and it was kicking up so much rust. I just did not want to cause any electrical issues. I did unplug the battery because I was doing stuff under the fuse box and stuff everywhere. But yeah, I just wanted to play it safe, and it's gonna be much better in the long run to just weld new floor pans like I've been saying. So this will be better for now. That's the main spot that was rusty, that was visible from outside the car. This spot is starting to get pretty bad, but in this spot too. And there's one spot in the hatch I probably want to fix because it's right by the exhaust. Honestly, for this car being what, like 25 years old now, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. I'm gonna rig up all these wires so it's not really touching. I don't know if I'll paint over this because it looks fine. Probably paint over that. I'll grind that out. Yeah, so should be just about ready to paint. I really don't want to rush this, but I do want to get a video out soon, so I want to at least paint. This is what I'm going to be using to coat it. Herculiner roll-on bed liner. It's kind of just for, supposed to be for trucks, and I'm also not going to roll it on. I'm going to use a paintbrush. I don't know if that's a good or a bad idea, but we're about to find out. Okay. Oops. Let's see how this works with the paintbrush. It said not to shake it, so I don't think I need to stir it up or anything. Yeah, I mean, looks like it goes on nicely. Seems like a little goes a long way, so just gonna take my time and spread it all out nicely. There's little areas where it's not going on nicely. I mean, I might do 2 coats anyway, but like I said, I'm not too worried about it because I want to weld in floor pans anyway eventually. I just can't weld anything right now, unfortunately. Plan is to get 20 amp wired into my garage eventually, so I'll be able to get at least MIG, and if that never happens, then I would be not opposed to getting a oxyacetylene torch and welding with that. I know nothing about that, and it's probably harder, I'd say, than like MIG or TIG, but let me know if you have any opinions on that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up doing 2 coats, so I'm not too worried about the streaking or anything. Another reason why I'm not going too in-depth in patching the rust, obviously there's some still here, but it's supposed to get pretty nasty with the rain in the next few days, so I don't really want to leave all this surface or this raw metal open, because then there would be no point in me doing this. But anyways, you guys get the idea. I'm going to continue doing this, probably do at least these 4 sections, and I'll show the results. Alright, so I just finished putting on the first layer. Honestly, with the paintbrush, it worked a lot better than I thought it would have. Definitely, if you do this, do the prep work. Somehow I missed like a ton of dust on this side, so I mean, that's just not good. But definitely scuff it up a lot better. I thought I scuffed it up decently. I think I guess I forgot some sections, but definitely scuff it up. It goes on a lot better if you do that. I just use like a red/purple Scotch-Brite pad. Seemed to work pretty nicely. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna paint this middle structures thing yet. Probably will paint and coat the rusty spots once I sand them out. Same with these things in the corners. But honestly, the first coat went on pretty well. On the bottom side where I patched stuff up, I'm probably just gonna spray some rubberized coating on there. I don't think I'll paint it like this. This side that was scuffed, this side was not scuffed. Obviously you can see that it went on a lot worse, but once I put on another layer, I'm sure it'll be all right. Anyways, I think I will have to end this one here. In the next one, I'll show the final result, and we're probably gonna be putting most of the interior back in. I think I might dye the carpet. I'm not really sure yet. I'm definitely gonna power wash it to get all the mud out and brown out, but I don't think there's gonna be too much saving it, so I kind of want to just dye it black. Let me know if you guys have any better ideas. But as always, if you have any tips or tricks, let me know in the comments. If you enjoy stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. Anyways, thanks for watching, and catch you the next time. Peace.